Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now last episode we'd taken a brief break from our feed the factory progression so that we could actually make one of our factories look kind of neat instead of like the one behind me, which is just a bunch of stuff sitting outdoors on a big piece of stone. So the goal there was to just see what we can do with Engineer's Decor, which is another mod I added to the pack. It's not part of the base pack, but it gives us some fancier decoration tools. Today, we are back to the unlocking. Now, that episode bought us some time to get more research produced, so we have a bunch more purple research now, and that means we can actually start unlocking some of the things in the next tier to get us towards oil and plastic production. So, that's what we're doing today. With no further ado, let's dive right in. Now, between episodes, I went ahead and spent a little bit of our upgrades to unlock the nuclear craft upgrades because we ran into a bottleneck making fluxed electrum, which we need for, of course, the blue research. So we don't have as much blue research right now as I would like because that bottleneck really kind of threw us off. But now we are starting to get back up there, and that means we can actually start unlocking some of these things. Now, this is the area we're going to be spending most of the attention on today. The oil processing, all of these pieces. And that means we're finally going to get diesel generators as well, which is great. We also need to start looking at unlocking some of these other pieces that are bottlenecks for us as well. The advanced capacitor. And also eventually here very soon thereafter, we are going to need to unlock the HV cables. I don't know if we'll have enough research to do that today though. But for right now, let's focus on just what's at hand, and that is our oil. So I think we have enough, at least for the oil. There we go. And that tells us how to make a pump jack. Again, very much like Factorio. We're going to have to get the oil processing here if we can, because that's going to make this even more efficient. Do I have more of those? So we need red research. A little bit more blue, okay, and that gives us a distillation tower. What else can we do here? We don't need biofuel yet. This will improve our compression dynamos. And this will make the fractioning still more efficient. I don't know which of these is the priority here. Let's start with the compression dynamo. We'll just go down the row here. Did that need these? Is that 8x or 16x? Oh yeah, it's the 64. Okay. And I think that probably means that we are not going to have enough. Oh, maybe we are going to have enough for both of them. Okay, wonderful. Now, if we have any left over, it would be nice to do some of these other ones, but I don't know that we will. Diesel generator is something I'd love to have. And do we have 12 more of our 8 packs of blue research? That is the question. No, we do not. Okay, so we're going to have to hold off on the actual diesel generator because, again, that bottleneck with blue research is screwing us up. Okay, so to get started with this, we first have to find oil somewhere on the map. And we can't do that with the locator that we've been using. Our advanced source scanner and our seismic reader, neither of these will tell you whether or not there is any of that ore. What we need to do instead is create a core sample drill. Now, for this, we need 4 pieces of steel scaffolding, 3 steel fences, and 2 light engineering blocks to be able to make it. So we don't have any of those right now. I think we have 1 piece of steel scaffolding, so let's go ahead and make... Oh, we do have the steel fences, never mind. But we do need 3 more of the steel scaffolding. So to do that, we actually need to make ourselves some steel rods first. There we go. And then with that, we can make our steel scaffolding. Like so. And so we're going to need 4 of those. And then what's the last thing we need for our drill? Let's see here. The light engineering blocks. Great. So with all of those in hand, we can make our core sample drill. Excellent. Now, this we can use to figure out whether or not we have what we need, whether or not there is oil present. Okay, so we need a way of powering this thing. So I made ourselves up an energy battery and went ahead and charged it up real quick with our integrated dynamics network. And now there we go. Our sample drill is doing the thing. So that should give us a sample. And this sample should say, yes, that there is 7 million millibuckets of crude oil here. So that is in this chunk. We'll put this down right here so we know where that is. And then we can actually just pick all of this back up because we've done what we need to do, which is find oil. Great. Now that means we can start setting up our pump jack if we want right here. And maybe this is a fine place for it. We're getting out where our researchers are. We do need to make sure we have more room for that. But I think we can at least start putting these down and we can start building our actual pumping station maybe over here. Okay, so a pump jack is a very large multi-block structure. It is not straightforward. If we go back here into our engineer's handbook, we can look up the recipe and yeah, as you can see here, it is massive. This thing is super big. So we've tried to make ourselves a whole lot of space for it here, but I'm gonna take a second and make all of the ingredients I need. Now, this is gonna take a while, so I will be back in just a second. Okay, and there we go. Steel scaffolding, treated wood fences, fluid pipes, redstone engineering blocks, light engineering blocks, heavy engineering blocks, blocks of steel, and steel sheet metal. Whew, that is a lot. Now, I'd also made myself a pump jack projector. This is pretty easy to make. I had already made lanterns in the previous episode for a decoration. So we just combine that with some glass, iron, and treated wood planks to make a projector. Then you combine that with whatever page you have open here in your Akashic Tome. You basically can drop this in here with your projector, and that makes the projector on that page. So now we have a pump jack projector, which allows us to sort of see exactly what we are doing and where we are putting it. So let's assume that we want to put it within the bounds of this chunk, like right here. I think that all fits within the chunk. Okay, great. Now that we have this ghostly layout, we just have to copy it. So this is one of the drawbacks of multi-block structures. You have to do them manually, but this will be fine. I think now that we have the capsule for the pump jack, we can pick it back up pretty easily though. So, whoops, that's wrong. Let's just put down our scaffolding, also wrong, also wrong. We need our 4 fluid pipes, and I keep misclicking. I think the ghostly aim here is putting me off. All right, so that's that level done. Next level up here has our redstone engineering block. Thankfully, we're making those in bulk, so that makes it pretty easy. Our light engineering blocks. Wait, was that the wrong one? That looks like a heavy engineering block. Does that look like that to you? Yeah, that is right. That is right. That's the heavy engineering block. Okay. I think I have that right. And then the treated wood fences. Nope. Nope. Definitely not. Go here and here. Here and here. This appears to be another heavy engineering block. And out here, this is a block of steel, I think, but we need to put it on something. There we go. Yeah, that was definitely right, because now we're already up to the next level. Let's put that block down first. Oh, and you see that when you're holding them, it's actually highlighting the blocks to say which block goes where. That's nice. I don't remember that, but apparently it does. And then we do our steel sheet metal, like so. And that's got a green outline, so I think that thinks that it's done. Let's grab our morphing tool, and I think we can just... Maybe we have to have the morphing tool actually in hammer mode. Yeah, this isn't letting me give it a whack. Oh, there it goes. I just had to click it on the redstone engineering block. Okay, perfect. Okay, so to power our pump jack, we need to supply a power source to it on top of this dot, this connector. So we put our battery there and we put a switch on it. And that did indeed give it power, but not enough to actually operate. So for full power, we need to grab our energy interface real quick, and we'll put that on the side. We're going to export our power into that with the exporter, not the interface, the exporter. I should learn my terminology here. And then we just give it a card, and there we go. This should be getting power. And it looks like it's getting enough power to function. So it's getting also oil out in theory. So we need a place to put that oil. Now, I don't really have many places to put that oil yet. We have not built a large scale storage here. Let's see here. But what we can do is use our Ender IO fluid conduits. Will this actually output directly to it? Yeah, it will. We don't even need a conduit. Look at that. Okay, so that's going to be temporary. That's not going to be forever. Now, this is going to fill up really quick, so let's go ahead and make a hardened upgrade for it. And drop that in there. There we go. And now that's going to hold, I think, 32 buckets? I think that's right. No, that's already more than 32 buckets. A lot of buckets. That's all that we care about. Okay, so we are getting crude oil. That's the important thing. Now, with that crude oil on hand, we need to start processing it. So what do we do to process oil? Well, we use the distillation tower that we had unlocked previously. Now, this is even more ingredients. So I'm also going to go away for a second here and make all of these things needed for this one. So back in a flash. Okay, there is all of our ingredients. Now we need to get the oil from here to wherever our pumping station, distillation station, all of that stuff is going to be. I think maybe we continue to expand north here because it gives us a little bit more room. And maybe right here in this chunk that we determined does not have any oil is exactly the place to build this. It's also really close to our main power supply, which means if we build some sort of a diesel generator in that chunk, it'll be really close to where this is. So let me clear this out real fast, and then we will build our next ridiculously large machine. Okay, that didn't take too long. Now, we did get our projector for the distillation tower automatically when we completed that quest earlier. So we actually already knew how to build this. And, you know, we might end up needing multiples of these. I hope not, but we might. So let's see here, which is going to be the insert side. I assume the interfaces are there with those machine blocks. So let's go ahead and put this down right here. Okay, and now this is going to be really, really tall, but we are going to work our way through it and get this thing built. So I think, yeah, these are the heavy engineering blocks there. We have the one fluid pipe here. Maybe we just move some things around in our inventory to make this a little bit better. Where did we put our scaffolding? There we go. And I brought only the exact amount we need here, so we're gonna have to be careful as we're placing the pieces that we put them in exactly the right spot. Wonderful. And since this is scaffolding, we can actually climb it as we are building. That's going to be helpful, assuming that this stays solid all the way up on that edge. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all, this is going to take a while to finish building, so maybe I'll come back here once we are done. Because this probably isn't but so exciting just watching me put lots of blocks in place where these ghost blocks are. I don't know. Maybe I'll like that. Maybe I'll don't. Tell me in the comments. But for this episode, at least, we are going to skip this building process. Oof. Especially since you're going to have to watch me mess it up over and over again and fall over a whole bunch. Okay, at long last, there we go. Our finished massive distillation tower. The only thing that remains is to grab back up our hammer and see if we can't find the right place. There we go. That is the right place to whack it. Wonderful. Okay, so now we have a distillation tower. And it looks like I was wrong about, maybe I'm not. The blue is the input and the gold is the output, I believe. So I think all of this is right. And yeah, then power goes on top. Okay, so now all we have to do is, oh, and look at the little ladder. That's super cool. Man, this is actually a really cool multi-block structure. I really like this. This is awesome. Okay, so here is our battery. We put it on top of this, just like so. With that, we then attach an energy exporter. Same exact setup as we did at the top here. Give it a cable, and we give it an omnidirectional controller. Just like that. This just needs a card. Any card will do. And that should be getting now power. It doesn't look like it's getting power, but it should be getting power. Oh, of course. I keep forgetting the most obvious thing here, and that is you have to have a lever on your battery, because we are using batteries, which always require a lever. So let's just make one of those real quick. There we go, and voila. Perfect. Okay, now this thing needs to get some fluid in. So this should be the input here. We need to run it from our tank all the way up there. Now, I lined it up with my ladder, which is dumb. I should have moved the ladder, but we'll bring it down and around. Okay, so this is coming off of our pump jack here. So I think for this, there's two ways we could do it. We could set it up with our existing logic cables. That would be fine. Since everything is so tightly connected there, that might be the way to do this, is use this as a fluid interface. The other way, of course, would be to instead run Ender IO conduits, which also is totally fine. Now let's see, we're out of fluid interfaces, so let's do a fluid interface like so. Okay. And one of those needs to be a fluid exporter as well, but I think we are out of, yeah, we're out of the cards. I don't know why I just grabbed those up. So let's go ahead and make ourselves some output cards. And for that, we're going to need some more variable cards. We have a bunch. Okay. One more of those. You know what? We're going to go through these so quickly. I'm just going to make another stack of those too. Wonderful. And just make one fluid exporter as well. Great. Okay. So the fluid interface goes on this tank, and I think we can put it, I guess we'll just put it on top, that's fine. Oh, and we're about to run out of logic cables. We really should have made a bunch of this stuff up before we started the episode, but unfortunately I did not. And maybe even more than that, okay. And now we just connect these up. Should be very simple. Okay, so now we have oil in our system, in our network. So let's go back down here. And to this interface, we are going to use our fluid exporter. Gonna grab our cables here, and now we need to program this to only accept oil. So fluid and oil. Okay, I think it's crude oil. Immersive petroleum. Yeah, it's probably crude oil. So let's add that. Add that. And that should then take this. Ah, there we go. This took a lot of fidgeting to figure out why that didn't work. And the reason why that didn't work is somewhat surprisingly, that the wrong oil is being used. This is not using the immersive petroleum oil, it is using the thermal foundation oil. So I'm not sure why that is, but that's what's going on here. So I learned that the hard way. So I'm gonna go ahead and break this tank again. I don't think, there we go. I need the tank. I think I can just directly import this here. There we go. And now we should be able to use that card that we just created to instead bring this down and directly input it. I think we can just do this now that we have figured that out. There, so that should be, yeah, keeping that full as much as possible. And that's making all of our various fluids for us: naphtha, lubricant, and gasoline. Now, if you all saw the playthrough that I was starting to do on Enigmatica 9, you'll be familiar with some of these fluids because in Pressure Craft, I believe, they use something very, very similar here, only it's a much smaller distillation tower, but same general concept here, that you're getting all of these different fluids out of this single machine. Okay, so you can see bitumen is being spat out the front there in a decent amount. And in here, all of our different fluids are going to be stored. So we need a way of storing those. And I think what we'll do here is make ourselves a few more of the portable tanks rather than making ourselves the tanks that I had been using before. These Buildcraft tanks, is that what these are from? Yeah, Buildcraft Factory. Okay, so let's go ahead and make ourselves a few more portable tanks here. If it will let us. It doesn't seem to want to yield up that recipe. We want this recipe. Okay, so we're going to need 2 more servos, and then we can make 2 more tanks. And the reason why I'm doing this is because these are easily upgradable and work really nicely. All right, so we're going to put these down just 1 block over here. Okay, we'll go ahead and make this tank hardened. And then we should be able to put this down here. Oh, but it swapped them on us. So we need a few more hardened upgrades here. Okay, and then we should just be able to do that. Okay, so naphtha, lubricant, gasoline. And in theory, this will auto sort those. Great. Full of oil. I guess we can turn this back on now. I had turned it off while we were sorting through that. Now, I'm not sure why this is backing up on us. It should be able to keep up here, but maybe it's because these pipes are less than ideal for exporting. That could be the problem, that it's not actually emptying the pipes to put these items in there. We're gonna have to think through this a little bit because we do need some way of doing multi-fluid. Now, we do know one way of doing multi-fluid. We actually know one really easy way of doing multi-fluid. And I think this might be the only way in the pack, actually, now that I look at it. So we're gonna have to make more fluid interfaces. There we go. And we are gonna need some more exports. Output. I'm gonna keep making this mistake over and over, just like that. And we'll do 3 fluid exporters there. And we will do 1 item interface here. I think this will work. Okay, and if I tell these like this, we should be able to match them to the ingredients. So let's see if we can do that real quick. Grab our programmer, grab our fluid, and let's do lubricant first. Add that there. Okay, there's our lubricant bucket. And then naphtha. Naphtha. Did I spell that wrong? Naphtha. There we go. And then we move that there. And then last we need gasoline. And that goes in this card. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and put those into place. Make sure that we're doing the right ones. So gasoline is over here. This is our lubricant. And this is our remaining naphtha. Oh, obviously that's why, because that is an item interface. This is a fluid interface. These are different things. So we need to make sure that these are the same things, not different things. Okay, fluid interface. There you go. I'm seeing that one tick up already. And that should empty these out slowly. There. I did see a big jump there for a second, but it looks like the naphtha is still not really moving. So maybe we go ahead and adjust these. If we can increase the speed, yeah, let's try 8,000 here, 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. 2,000 is the most you're gonna let me do? All right, well, we can live with that. And there we go, our naphtha is slowly being pulled out. And these all have ingredients. Okay, so last thing here is I do need one storage container for our bitumen. Don't know why I'm typing that. I think we should have a storage drawer. Yeah, we just need a basic storage drawer there. And I should not have grabbed it up that way because now I'm stuck with all of these. Okay. And there we go. Maybe we go ahead and upgrade this too, because we're probably going to put a lot of stuff in there. So let's find our, yeah, we'll do diamond upgrade, whatever. We've got plenty of upgrades. Wonderful. Okay, so bitumen. Now, what do we use bitumen for? That's something I haven't checked. Oh, concrete. Right. Oh, and apparently solar panels tier 5 require that as well. That's fascinating. Well, friends, this episode started to run really long on me, so I'm jumping in from the editing room to trim it down into 2 separate episodes here. Next episode, we're going to get into what we're doing with all of these fluids from the distillation tower and get, hopefully, a diesel generator set up. That's assuming nothing horrifically bad goes wrong. But you'll have to wait and see. So join us back here next time for more enterprise architecture. Thanks again for watching. Bye, friends.